How's it going, everybody? I hope you're having a magnificent day. Today, I'm going to show you a new strategy that can pretty much guarantee you 3-shot any capital peak you want, maybe even 2-shot eventually. So, I'm going to be taking a look at 2 capital peak hits. This first attack is against pretty much a maxed out capital peak. We're using a level 4 freeze and a level 2 miner. So this is, I'm starting to play around with this strategy, trying to see what works best, what works, and what doesn't. So, do slightly miss with the freeze spell. And we only have the level 2 miners, so even with all of that being said, we're still going to take out this base in 3 attacks. So, what are we doing? We're pretty much trying to spread out the miners so that they destroy buildings before they die out unnecessarily. So, typically you want to send at least 2 miners in together, sometimes 3 depending on the base layout, so they can all, chunk down one defense really quick, burrow underneath the earth, hide, and then move on to the next defense. So you also bring in 2 graveyard spells to help distract. You don't get as much value from the skeletons because you can only bring a few amount of the miners, but typically we'll be bringing in a few of the rams, and those will die off and definitely help out our attack, popping up those skeletons and distracting. So now we're going to be focusing on this left hand side of the base. Again, bringing in a couple of archers, trying to test out, see if it works or not. Little sneak peek towards the end of the video, we do swap into just almost all miners. It's pretty crazy. The miners are just so strong in capital peak at the moment. So here we're mostly trying to avoid getting the miners killed off by the Inferno Towers. So we're able to sneak them down underneath the ground with the slow effect from the freeze spell. Works out very, very nicely. Typically you don't even need to bring like a heal spell or a rage. Usually just the wider range of the freeze spell works out pretty good. Only difference is if you are on the capital peak and you know you're going to be on the capital peak for a long time, you can use a heal spell. Otherwise you just want to kind of spread around the miners and you will be doing pretty good. So you can see we have quite a bit of the base left over. We still have the capital peak, we still have the super dragon. So here we're just waiting on a couple of these skeletons, clearing it out. We're trying to break through this wall, we're going to see if it works or not, but in this version, since the capital peak is full health, we're going to be swapping out those archers and bringing in a P.E.K.K.A. So going to be freezing the super dragon, blast bow, and the rock artillery, setting in the P.E.K.K.A. to take out the capital peak with a miner. Then we sent the rest of the miners on the right hand side so they can just smoke that side of the base. And then we're going to try to have them dodge the capital peak hits, but what does happen is that they lock on to the miners. Even if they burrow underground, it's still tracking them, so when they pop up, that eagle hit will destroy them. Just so you guys know. So now we're taking a look at a slightly weaker capital peak, and this is the strategy that I think is gonna do a lot of damage. So it's the 9 miners and 5 rams. 1 freeze, 2 graveyards. Works out very, very well. Keep in mind these are level 2 miners. So I'll show you one more attack at the end, just on our golden quarry with level 3 miners, just to show you how powerful they are. I remember back in the graveyard, when it first came out, you could pretty much 2-shot anything, no matter what. You can even 2-shot some capital peaks. With these miners, it seems like you can just 2-shot any district. Then you can definitely 3-shot capital peak, but with some practice you might be able to actually 2-shot capital peak. Especially if you want to kind of switch it up and use the Mega Sparky on some of these more compact bases so that you can get the 1 shot off on multiple defenses. But these miners, they just keep going. Like it's pretty much the whole first attack here. We still have a miner up top. We still have 2 miners down south. It's kind of crazy. We've cleared out some of the defenses in front of the capital peak that we definitely want to take out. And what's interesting with this strategy is that you don't even really have to worry about the Super Dragon. The Super Dragon's going to either get frozen up by a freeze spell, or it's going to be kind of distracted trying to take out some of the graveyard skeletons. And even if it locks onto a miner, depending on the building that the miner's attacking, if it's low health, it can just burrow underneath and just completely avoid the Super Dragon. So here we're going to take a look at the level 2 miners. This might have actually been a 2-shot with maxed out miners. So we're going to send in some of the rams, open up the walls, get some graveyards going, get some distracting down, play 1 miner sort of all around the base. And the goal is we're going to try to have them converge onto the district hall so they don't take too much damage. So yeah, the explosion that these things deal when they die off is huge. Absolutely huge. So we have some of the graveyard skeletons working on the blast bow. And we have our other graveyard that took out that blast bow up top. So now with 1 or more of our miners, we can directly target the Inferno Tower. We should be doing pretty good. All of our miners in the core of the base are working through. So we're getting a lot of value. Miners are just so ridiculously strong. It's kind of crazy that these things even make it through like their the PTR or their test build. Like the first thing they should test out is if you use all of the new troops, spam it in, is that overpowered or not? I don't know how the beta people, the test people miss this kind of stuff. So very close to 2-shotting this capital peak. We'll take a look at the 3rd hit. Just gonna be complete overkill. You know, just deploying our spells wherever we want. Gonna slow down the Super Dragon. Just deploy the rams in to distract a little bit. And yeah, kind of crazy. But we took out 2 capital peaks. 1 was a maxed out capital peak. And no problem at all. So now we'll take a look at a golem quarry 2-shot, and it's a pretty well decently upgraded. You know, they've got not the best layout, it's mostly the default layout, but still, we're just going to use the freeze over some of the buildings that can destroy miners, being the crusher and the multi-cannons. The blast bows, the rocket artilleries, the giant cannons, they don't really affect the miners all that much, since they're constantly burrowing and moving around, kind of spread out too. So again, there's also, you can only bring 9 of them with this strategy, so even if they were all to get clumped up together, you're not going to be doing like that much splash damage because they are quite tanky. So you can see here that on the first attack we got 66% of the base taken out, and we've got only 1 of the big splash target defenses left. That is crazy. That is absolutely insane. This is very strong stuff, and this is only the level 3 miners. I'm excited to see, I think maybe next weekend we'll get the level 4 miners. We'll see if they get nerfed or not, but man, this strategy is crazy. Highly recommend you guys upgrade your miners as fast as possible. You can just pretty much no-brain 2-shot any of the districts. Gonna test it out on the Dragon Cliffs. I'm not too sure about that one yet, because all those Super Dragons can be quite scary. But yeah, we might even be able to 2-shot some capital peaks, which will be insane. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Helps me out a bunch. There's a couple more videos on the screen if you want to keep on watching. Until next time, take care.